This podcast is part of the Red5 Network. For more Red5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com.
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
Hello there, and welcome back to From a Certain Point of View podcast. This is episode 47, and today it's all about the kids because Star Wars is so much about kids, right? Adam, what's going on?
Not much. Just got back today from my wife and daughter and I. We went out to McConnell's Mill, which is a little park around Western PA, which I know you know, but not many others out there may know. But there's an old like 1800s mill, like a I don't know what kind of mill it even is. I'll be honest with you, but it's down a little valley with a river next to it, obviously, and some nice hiking trails. So we kind of went through and did a little walking in the woods, and it was nice. It's a beautiful day around here today.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you what; those trails can be a little bit treacherous, though. You got to watch out.
Yeah, we took some of these.
A challenging hike. Yeah.
Some of those are pretty rough. Yeah, we took some of the easier ones, especially since we had Grace with us. So
good call.
So yeah, speaking of things you can do with kids, that's something we did with our kid today.
Yeah, there you go. It fits with the theme of the day.
Yeah. What have you been up to, Josh?
I haven't been up to much in the world of Star Wars, but I have been, very busy at work and with coaching and everything this week. But last night I had some time in the evening to sit down and binge watch a little Cobra Kai, which is now on Netflix. And I watched like the first 5 episodes. They're like a half an hour each. And I'll tell you what, it's fantastic. If you haven't checked out, good. Yeah, if you haven't checked out Cobra Kai, it's kind of a continuation of the Karate Kid movie series.
Right.
Like 30 some years later, basically, when and yeah, I mean, I wasn't even a huge Karate Kid fan back in the day, but I just picked this up and I'm really enjoying it. So
nice. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. Yeah. Back when I was on YouTube, I was like, I don't really want to get YouTube TV just for that,
Yeah, same. Then when it went on Netflix, I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Yeah, it's definitely, and we also had a poll this week, and our poll question was: the snowy planet that appears in the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer is, and this is something we talked about in our last episode when we were breaking down the Season 2 trailer, and here are our results. We had the options of Hoth, Ilum, or neither, because there was a big debate going on online about what planet this is. 10.1% of the vote was Hoth, 56.5% of the vote, and the winner was Ilum, and then 33.3% said neither. Total of 69 votes on that one. So what do you think about these results, Adam?
I think if it's going to be any place that we've seen before, it's probably going to be Ilum. Makes the most sense, but I'm still holding out that possibility that it's somewhere we've never been before. So,
yeah, that's certainly a possibility. I am hoping for Ilum for sure, just because I think it could just make those connections that we talked about last week by connecting.
I almost do kind of want it to be somewhere brand new. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Ilum on this one.
So. Ilum makes a lot of sense, so I understand that, but I don't know. I almost just want to see someplace brand new.
Well, we will see. I like to get a good mix of new planets, but also sometimes revisiting ones we're familiar with and connecting to the other stories and everything. But we will see if the majority was right on this poll. And Adam, you're going to tell us what's coming up on this week's show.
Yes, I am. We have some news to talk about today. Of course, there's going to be some Mandalorian stuff in there since we're getting ever closer to Season 2. So we have that going for us. We are going to look at, and actually Josh is going to really look at the first season of Jedi Temple Challenge. And now that that's all wrapped up for its first year, we're going to take a deeper look at that. And then we're going to finish this episode. This is kind of our family-themed episode, as we alluded to at the top of the show here. But we're going to look at different ways we can introduce our kids to Star Wars.
Yeah, and I think also if you're listening, we're going to have a little bit of a giveaway announcement at the end of this episode as well.
We are.
So,
yeah. Some fun stuff there.
Stay tuned for that.
Indeed.
Especially if you like this guy behind me right here, the child. All right, you ready to dive into the news segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, you want the bad news or the really bad news?
So in some TV news this week, as Adam mentioned, The Mandalorian is kicking into high gear here with, its marketing and everything. And we have an article from StarWars.com about going inside ILM, creating the Razor Crest. And, we know that there was a lot of new technology that was used to create this show, especially with stagecraft. And we've talked about that at length.
Groundbreaking stuff, yeah, right.
But the unique thing about the shooting of The Mandalorian and Jon Favreau's approach is also that he kind of went back in time a little bit and used some old techniques.
Yeah.
And we're talking kind of about, using models, model making, those types of things. So this goes into the creating the Razor Crest, and it tells the story of how ILM built and shot a model of the Mandalorian's vessel. And this is there's about a 17-minute, I think it is, documentary, kind of mini documentary on how they created that and used miniatures and motion control, which I think is really fascinating stuff, because that's what George Lucas and his crew did back in the original trilogy. I haven't watched this yet, but I'm definitely going to. Have you checked it out yet, Adam?
No, I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but yeah, when so much of The Mandalorian just kind of felt Star Wars, and then you look at like miniatures and things like that. That type of stuff feels like Star Wars. It makes it feel more grounded, more real, I guess, even though they're tiny models. But it's just one of those extra things. They talked a lot about the music and how parts of the music really harken back to what John Williams did, even though it wasn't John Williams stuff. And it just, when you look at all these other techniques, even with stagecraft, in some ways is kind of reminiscent of what they did with the prequels, where George was kind of pioneering that digital landscape. And then going back to using miniatures just feels like Star Wars. It's just Mandalorian just kind of in a lot of ways feels like everything Star Wars, just culminating into one beautiful thing.
I absolutely agree. I love the approach that they've taken, and I'm looking forward to checking out this video. And you can watch it on the Star Wars website, or you can watch it on YouTube as well. It's called ILM, Inside ILM, Creating the Razor Crest. So that is that for that one. And also related to The Mandalorian, Disney and Lucasfilm announced Mando Mondays. So this is going to be taking place on October 26th, and that's when it starts. And we're going to each, I think I pulled a quote out of here. Here it is. After fans experience the latest episode every Friday on Disney Plus, they can visit mandomondays.com each Monday to see what new toys, collectibles, apparel, books, comics, digital content, and more will be unveiled. Mando Mondays will run for 9 weeks, culminating on December 21st. That quote came from Lucasfilm. And we have kind of some reveals from Hasbro about what's going to be revealed on those Mondays and what's going to be available for purchase. We have a Mandalorian edition of Monopoly. We have several Black Series collectibles, including, the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian. We've got...
And those are the Black Series on those new cards too, which is kind of nice. They're not in the, they're not the Black Series that are in the box. They're the carded ones. So if anyone out there collects those types of figures, those are pretty nice.
Kind of in the Kenner style and everything,
Yeah, the vintage collection style.
Yes. We've got the Mandalorian himself. We've got Cara Dune. We've got IG-11. an Imperial Death Trooper, just to name a few. So yeah, did anything pique your interest here with Mando Mondays, Adam?
I mean, all of them, but this is basically like give us money Mondays.
Yeah.
Every week for 9 weeks. This is just buy more stuff.
There's some awesome stuff in here. We
There
even
really
have
is. There really is.
there's some Funko Pops too. We have a Gamorrean fighter. Gamorrean is the species that I was looking for last week. I couldn't think of it when we were talking about who was battling in that wrestling ring in the trailer.
Yeah.
Gamorrean,
Okay.
Yeah. And we got some
That
Lego
Diamond
sets
Select
as well.
that bust of the child is pretty nice looking, but it's $150.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That looks fantastic.
It does.
Yeah, so
more Funko Pop, of course.
Yes.
Plenty
So
of
it's
Funko
looking
Pop.
like there's going to be a lot of great merch.
These fig pins though are pretty nice, and I do have a little bit of a soft spot for pins. But those fig pins are kind of nice. We have Mando, of course, Child, IG-11, Cara Dune, a couple of the Child, and Queel. So,
yeah, I mean, some of these things will make a fine addition to my collection.
Bravo.
Thank you. Next up, we're jumping to books and comics, and we have just a little update on the High Republic. We're looking at lightsabers in particular. And when it came to designing lightsabers for the High Republic era, Lucasfilm knew they had to be special, elegant weapons for a more civilized age, as Obi-Wan Kenobi might say. They wanted to make the Jedi distinctive and recognizable as Jedi Knights of the High Republic, and kind of looking at the Jedi Knights of the Round Table and kind of their own version, a Star Wars version of Excalibur, basically.
Yeah.
So looking at this lightsaber that they revealed, and I think this belongs to Stellan. Is it
Stellan Geo, I believe.
Geos or
Geos,
like
yeah. Sorry, Geos.
Yeah. But this is, we get like a crossguard lightsaber here. I mean, it's obviously different than Kylo Ren's. It's more elegant.
And, yeah, definitely more elegant, more gold trim and all that other stuff. And the crossguard part of it almost has the. It doesn't. It's not like it's. I don't know how to explain this for audio listeners. But Kylo Ren's kind of goes straight out with nothing. Kind of encapsulating those blades, kind of like a regular lightsaber. So this has
unstable and everything.
Yeah, so this has these gold arms that go and basically almost like cover each end of the crossguard there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very interesting design.
Yeah, I mean, this just makes me want to like see a show or a movie in this time period and see these things in action.
I think you'll get it. I mean, there's a lot. They're putting a lot of stuff into this for it to just be a few books and comics. So,
right, yeah,
I would not be surprised.
A whole new era of storytelling possibility.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if you saw more coming from the High Republic other than just books and comics.
Yes, indeed.
But I guess that remains to be seen.
We will see. So Adam's going to take us into a couple new news items when it comes to toys and merch as well. Yeah,
so a couple days ago was Hasbro's PulseCon, and we have a few pretty cool things coming out of that. First is a crowd-funded HasLab initiative. Basically, this is from the Star Wars Vintage collection line of toys. Kind of that we mentioned those before, those Kenner style cards. Except this is a vehicle. This is the Razor Crest from the Mandalorian that you can back. It's not cheap. It's $350. But this is one of those like I said, crowd funded items where you back it, and if they reach their goal, then they'll produce it and you get one. It's not going to be like a thing that's in stores or anything like that. But this thing looks pretty incredible. It's going to be about 30 inches in length, 20 inches wide, and about 10 inches high. And they said that turns out to be one of their largest largest vehicles that they've ever made. It will include the Razor Crest vehicle, a 3 3/4 inch Mandalorian figure in Beskar armor with one-of-a-kind soft goods cape. It also has a cockpit that will open to reveal a fully detailed interior with 3 seats that each fit vintage collection figures, detachable engines, and removable hull panels so that you can recreate the season 1 episode where the Jawas steal everything on the Razor Crest. So you can basically tear it all apart. Yeah. Weapons locker with included removable show-inspired weapons and accessories, carbon freezing chamber and a cargo hold with cargo netting. The rear door and the side door both open, removable landing gear, and a bunk area to hide a figure in. So this thing looks pretty awesome. Incredible. Yeah, and this is one of those things that if I bought this, I'd be having to collect a whole bunch of 3 3/4 figures. So,
now, Adam, I'm noticing that this is like basically it looks solid gray in color. Is this something
I imagine it'll be painted by the time it's produced. This looks like it's not a mock-up, but a prototype, I guess is the word I'm thinking of, a prototype model of this. So
I didn't know if it was one of those things you had to like paint yourself or
I don't think so. No, but I would actually kind of like that. That would be kind of fun.
I'm sure you would. That's what I was thinking, but I'd mess it all up. So I'm hoping, they paint it for me. I don't know.
I've done a little bit of the painting with the Imperial Assault figures. Those are a lot of fun to mess around with, but I don't think this will be that way.
Right.
So yeah, this is they've already got 4,961 backers as of the time of recording out of a target of 6,000, and there's still about 44 more days to go. So they're well on their way.
Like they'll hit that goal. Yeah,
they're well on their way to hitting that goal, and this will run through 11:59 p.m. Eastern on November 9th. So if you're at all interested in getting a Razor Crest for your 3 3/4 figures, you might want to head on over to HasbroPulse.com and check that out.
Indeed.
Also from Hasbro, this past week we got some new Black Series figures. There is the Dark Ray in that new Black Series box, which I actually really dig that new Black Series box. Getting away from the black and red. Yeah, the figure is beautiful.
It's pretty cool.
Yep. Pretty cool. We got a new Return of the Jedi version of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
We have a new line of a couple of the vintage collection figures, and so we've got let's see here, we've got episode 2 Anakin, the black dress Queen Amidala, a battle droid, and a TIE fighter pilot. Also getting Black Series figures, we have an episode 2 Clone Trooper, Imperial Incinerator Trooper, and deluxe versions of Jar Jar Binks, and like I mentioned before, the Boba Fett. That's the deluxe version. So, and then additionally, we'll get a new Force Effects lightsaber. This one is Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka, yeah. That looks pretty awesome.
It looks very awesome. So be on the lookout for those. Those were all announced this past week, and I believe some of them already went on pre-order and promptly sold out. So yeah, some pretty cool.
Did you see any of these holiday troops on here?
Oh yeah, I did see the holiday troops. They're interesting. I don't know if I'd buy any of those, but they're interesting. They're all like red and green styled figures, but yeah, they're interesting. They each come with their little one has a porg with a scarf in it, things like that. So they come with their own little accessories.
I wonder if this is gonna like tie into the holiday special they're doing at all or anything like that.
Yeah, the Lego one.
Yeah,
we're getting red and green stormtroopers. I don't know. That'd be pretty crazy.
Could be interesting. Yeah, cool stuff. Thanks for sharing these articles on the toys and everything. A lot of cool stuff that you could burn a lot of money on really fast. I'm sure.
Very fast. Yeah, Star Wars fandom and collecting is a complicated profession.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we mentioned last week also about Mandalorian winning some Emmys before the actual awards show, and after that awards show, we found out that they won 7 more Emmy awards. So the Mandalorian is raking in the accolades.
For sure.
They won Outstanding Music Composition for a Series, specifically for Chapter 8 Redemption. Outstanding Stunt Coordination for a Drama Series, Limited Series, or Movie. Outstanding Cinematography for a Single Camera Series for Chapter 7 The Reckoning. Outstanding Production Design for a Narrative Program from Chapter 1 The Mandalorian. Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or Drama Series and Animation from Chapter 1 as well. Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Comedy or Drama Series and Animation from Chapter 2 The Child. And Outstanding Special Visual Effects from Chapter 2 The Child. So
this is just awesome that it's being recognized in this way, and it's a great thing for Star Wars fans to celebrate, because normally Star Wars isn't too much in the awards conversation.
Right.
However, I think this is well deserved, and although it didn't take home the big prize of best drama series or anything, I'm getting tired of Succession winning everything in that category. Must be a good show. I haven't watched that one. But it still took home quite a few, and definitely something to be excited about.
Yeah, absolutely.
My disappointment in your performance cannot be overstated.
So our review for today is a Jedi Temple Challenge, which can be found on the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel. We talked a little bit earlier about the fact that this one is not on Disney Plus. It's exclusive to YouTube. And the show, of course, is hosted by Ahmed Best in the role of Jedi Master Kelleran Beck. And he is joined by his droid companion, AD3. And I'll talk a little bit more about their relationship kind of as master and droid companion, and it's a pretty fun relationship and everything that I'll get into a little bit. But basically, I'm going to go ahead and just talk about how this game show works, the basic layout of the show, and then give some of my thoughts about it. But there are 3 teams of 2 middle school age kids. I've seen ranging from 10 to 13 years of age, give or take.
So it's kind of like that Nickelodeon age range, if you're thinking back to Legends of the Hidden Temple, that same type of age range, yeah.
Yes, and this show is very much, you can see and feel and hear the influence of Legends of the Hidden Temple, and shows like that. So, which I was immediately excited about and on board for, because I loved those shows when I was growing up, and so
Nickelodeon game shows were a different breed, man.
Oh, they were the best. I mean, you had Guts.
Yeah,
I think there also Global Guts or something, they took it international, I think, and
something like that.
So, good stuff. But yeah, so there are 3 teams of 2 kids, and they compete in 3 rounds of challenges. The first round is strength, the second round is knowledge, and the final round is bravery. So talking about the strength challenge first, it takes place on a planet that looks similar to Endor, I would say. It includes several different tasks. There's a leap and lift, the power pull, saber stability, and the swing of strength. So they're different strength challenges, and at the end of each challenge is a piece of a lightsaber hilt that needs to be assembled.
Gotcha.
By each team member. And the first 2 teams out of 3 to finish basically that trial, they move on to the next round. Okay.
Mhm.
And so one team is eliminated at this point. And then the knowledge trial takes place on a starship, actually. And 83, the droid, reads a story, and the team members have to work together to answer the questions that are pulled from that story. And the really cool part about this challenge is that once the team completes that, they receive a holocron and move on to the Jedi Temple challenge, which is the final challenge. So at this point, another team
Okay.
is eliminated. The final team goes on to the Jedi Temple challenge. And in the Jedi Temple, they have to complete various tasks within a time limit to get their kyber crystal, ignite their lightsaber, and win the game and become Jedi Knights. If they win, if they complete all the challenges, they also get like a Jedi robe as well, and Yoda kind of speaks to them, which is cool. So, first of all, do you have any questions about the show so far, Adam?
No, not really.
Okay.
I'm sure you're going to get into some of the Ahmed Best stuff, right?
Yeah. I'm going to share
okay.
some of my thoughts here.
I was just kind of curious about where he fit into all this, about his character and all that.
Yeah, I mean, he's the Jedi Master who speaks to the kids and everything. He kind of guides them through their different tasks, tells them what they need to do, and then while they're competing, he's always like encouraging them, saying like, "You got this, you can do this. Use the Force."
Okay.
In the Jedi Temple challenge, actually, there is a dark side of the Force that kind of tempts the kids that are competing as well, and tries to distract them from their task and everything. Tries to mess with them, distract them so they can't complete their challenge. And Keller and Ahmed Best's character will try to deter them from going to the dark side and things like that.
I'm not sure if this is ever mentioned, but and I know that that I'm not getting into like canon stuff, but do we have any idea like when this takes place? Is this like prequel, I'm guessing, era?
That I'm not sure of. I'm not sure where in canon it might take place.
Right. I know this is a kid's show, but I mean, I was just curious if it takes place like during that prequel era, or maybe before,
right?
Or, something like that. So
yeah, I mean, I would, if I had to guess, I would guess prequel era. But I'd have to go and look at
probably
that
a safe
and
guess.
See if there's a timeline on that. But my thoughts about the show are basically this show is exactly what I thought it would be. It was what I was hoping for. It's basically Legends of the Hidden Temple, but Star Wars. So it didn't disappoint me. It's pretty much exactly what I wanted it to be. And I love the use of lightsaber construction, holocrons, and kyber crystals. And I love how they tied all those things into the show and into becoming a Jedi, kind of these essential elements, basically, which was pretty neat. I also really enjoy the banter between Keller and Beck and the droid 83. It's a lot of fun, provides a lot of comic relief. I think the adults might even appreciate some of that stuff a little bit more than the kids. Just that banter and that back and forth and that comedy. And I mentioned the dark side of the Force too being a part of the show and tempting the competitors and everything. And actually, the dark side voice is voiced by Sam Witwer.
I do remember hearing that. That's cool.
Yeah, who was the voice of Darth Maul and everything, of course.
Right.
So, and I also love how you get to hear Yoda at the end. And whether you win or lose, you still get that feedback from Yoda and from Jedi Master Keller and Beck. Just saying, okay, you might have fallen short this time. We need to head back to the Jedi Temple and train some more, and just keeping that kind of positive and everything. And the game seems challenging enough in that the final team doesn't always win. And
Oh, okay.
it seems like there is a challenge, and that there's that time limit, and the dark side messing with you in the temple and everything. So the teams don't always win. So that's kind of cool too, that there's a challenge to it. They don't always win, which I thought was cool. It's not like everybody gets a trophy type of thing,
Yeah.
You
So
have
speaking
to,
of trophy, like what's up for grabs here?
well,
Is it like a
it's
Star Wars prize pack or?
they didn't say anything about that
Oh,
in
really?
the show.
Okay.
It's more about like getting your lightsaber and
Gotcha.
your Jedi robe and everything, and I think those are the two main things that you get.
Okay.
And just you become an officially unofficial Jedi.
Yeah, I get you.
So if I have any gripes about the show, it's just that it can get a bit repetitive, because it's basically the same thing every time, but with different kids. But I mean, that's what all those shows were like, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sometimes they'll throw in there'll be a different type of maybe challenge here and there that gets thrown into the Jedi Temple, or the questions and the stories are always different in the knowledge section of the game. But that would be my only complaint, really. And Sydney actually watched my 3-year-old daughter watched some of the episodes with me, and seemed pretty engaged in it.
Cool. I was thinking about turning that on for Grace too, so we'll give it a try.
Yeah, so I think this will go along with our conversation of, being a kids themed show today from a certain point of view, and just how to introduce kids to Star Wars. This is definitely one of the ways to do that. If I had to give it an overall score, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10.
Okay,
solid.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about like a season 2 or more episodes or anything like that? Has there been any word on that? I don't remember.
Not to my knowledge, but there might have been, but I'm not sure.
Do you think this is something that stays on YouTube, or do you see them maybe moving this? I was looking through some of the episodes, and it looks like they hover like around 1 million views per. Some of them are down like 700s, which is still better than us. But I don't know. Do you think it stays on YouTube? Do you think it goes to like a Disney Plus, or maybe even like a Disney XD or Disney Junior? I don't know.
I think it'd probably stay exclusive to YouTube if I had to guess, just because the stuff they do on YouTube seems to stay there and doesn't seem to go anywhere else.
That's fair.
Like their Galaxy of Adventures shorts, and they do a Clone Wars bucket list short that kind of ties into the past week's episode of the Clone Wars when season 7 was going on.
I remember we talked about this when it first came out that way. That's kind of cool that it's free for everyone. YouTube is accessible, free to everyone. There's no cable paywall or Disney Plus paywall. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, so I mean, I would definitely recommend it for kids and any adult who likes Star Wars and Legends of the Hidden Temple and those types of game shows back in the day. So
nice.
Yeah.
So being that this is our kids and family theme show, we're ready to talk about maybe some more ways to introduce kids to Star Wars.
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about our top 5 ways to introduce kids to Star Wars.
Luke, you're going to find that many of the truths we cling to depend greatly on our own point of view.
Okay, so as I just mentioned, we're talking about the top 5 ways to introduce kids to Star Wars. Adam, I know you're an expert. I'm also an expert in this area because I have a 3-year-old daughter who I've been training to be a Jedi since the day she was born.
I'm still learning how to be a parent.
Okay. It's
only been 6 years, so I have a little more time.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so maybe I'm not an expert, but I'm going to give you my best advice and the things I've been doing to raise Sydney, my 3-year-old, as a Star Wars Jedi Knight in the making.
Or Sith.
Or maybe, hopefully not.
Do you think? You think that she might fall?
She has some dark tendencies.
Does she?
Sometimes I see some Sith in her, the Force is strong in my family, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But and maybe she's too young. Maybe I'm going against the Jedi Code. However,
I think the younger the better for the Jedi Code, right?
that's true. I just do we start at? Can we start at like
Maybe I've
birth?
waited too long. Grace
Maybe.
Grace is 6, and
she might be too old.
She's seen some Star Wars. She might be too old.
Might be. But if you have a child at home, here are the top 5 ways to get your child involved in Star Wars. Number 1, and I just put these in chronological order, not like this is the most important one. This is just the order I kind of have been going through with Sydney. And number 1, decorate their room with a Star Wars theme. So the best thing to do here is decorate the room before they're born. That way they don't have a say in it. You're just kind of forcing it upon them, and it's already a done deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But Sydney's room is unique in that, okay, so I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Brittany is a huge Harry Potter fan. So we had to come to a compromise, because that's what you do in marriage if you want your marriage to last. This is a marriage tip, not like a kid tip right now. Compromise, okay? So, yes, on Sydney's wall it says, "I am a Jedi like my father before me," with a lightsaber underneath it. It's the Skywalker lightsaber, okay? But then underneath that, it also
lightsaber,
Rey's lightsaber,
Luke's, or Anakin's.
It was Anakin's, and then it was Luke's, and then it was Rey's.
I'm just messing with you.
And now it's buried in the ground on Tatooine. Just so we're clear.
Okay. All right.
For now, until somebody else digs it up in episode 10. Okay. But so Sydney's room says, I'm a Jedi like my father before me, but then underneath it says, unless I get a letter from Hogwarts like my mom, or something like that. I don't know that.
That's cool. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, unless I get my letter like my mom. And it has like the Elder Wand underneath that. Okay.
Right.
So and maybe I don't know if we can have any way of putting pictures into this.
I can put them in the show notes, or on the website. I can put them in the show notes.
Okay, so I'll send you a couple pictures that maybe we can attach to the show notes, and so you can check that out. My wife also did some pretty cool stuff with, like, I think it was like canvas, where she created like these canvas type posters to hang on the wall as well. There's one of Rey, there's one of BB-8, but it's like pink. There's because she's a girl, Yeah. And then and then there's one with like the Death Star on it, and another one says the Force is strong with this one, or something like that. So, but then of course on the other wall you got some Harry Potter stuff, because again, compromise. So that's number 1. Okay. Number 2, read Star Wars books to them from an early age. So we read to Sydney every night before bed, and I try to sprinkle in some Star Wars books where I can. So one of those Star Wars books, and maybe we'll put this stuff in the show notes too, but if you're watching on YouTube, this is The Galaxy Needs You, and it's by Caitlin Kennedy. And, it's all just about being kind of unique, no matter what your strengths are or your differences are. The galaxy needs all kinds of different people. And, it ties in a lot of Star Wars stuff with Rey and BB-8, but it's also like sending a good message about, just being who you are in this world, in the real world, and everything, and having things to accomplish. So I really enjoy this one. Sydney enjoyed this one. And then we've also been doing Star Wars ABC 3PO. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So this one was also Caitlin Kennedy, along with Calliope Glass. That's my best job on pronouncing that. But basically it goes through the alphabet, and it introduces you to different characters according to the alphabet, like A for Akbar, B for Boba Fett, and so on. So it's cool if you're trying to teach your kid the alphabet and teach them about Star Wars at the same time.
Yeah. I had one that I used to read to Gracie. It was called 5-Minute Star Wars Stories. And there's a whole bunch of those books, like the 5-minute bedtime stories or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a Pixar one, there's a Disney in general, there's a Princess one, there's all those other stuff. But there's a Star Wars one too, and it came out around The Force Awakens, so it includes some stories up through Force Awakens. She used to always like the Rey and BB-8 one, where they meet. They're just like quick little easy bedtime stories that are fun, and sometimes I would try to do like a Yoda voice of Yoda speaking. She'd think that was funny and giggle, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, reading is a great idea.
Absolutely. Number 3, I have subscribed to the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel, and we've talked about this channel. We've talked about it even in the earlier segment today. You'll find a lot of content for kids on this page, including Jedi Temple Challenge, which we just did a review for. And there's another one called Let's Make Star Wars. And it's basically arts and crafts that you can do that are related to Star Wars, of course. And then there are a lot of shorts called Galaxy of Adventures. And they're all of the animated style, where they introduce kids to, movie moments and different characters. They go into Darth Vader and the original trilogy, Luke and everybody. And then the sequel trilogy, they go into characters like Rey and Kylo Ren, and a lot of good stuff right there that just introduces kids to Star Wars. Yeah. Have you checked any of these out, Adam?
Galaxy of Adventures, I checked out some of those, and like I said, the Let's Make Star Wars stuff is a lot of fun. They also have that on the StarWars.com website proper. They have some of the arts and crafts, things like that. So I remember I checked out some of the papercraft stuff that they have. Papercraft's a lot of fun, just printing out stuff like that and doing all the folding and everything that goes along. So with paper crafting. So, and you get something fun to keep.
Number 4 is introduce them to an animated series. So I introduced Sydney to Star Wars Resistance when she was about 2 years old. And I can say she was very engaged in it. She would get very excited about seeing Kaz and BB-8 in particular. And this show is very kid-friendly, but, adults will also get something out of it. It takes place during, the sequel trilogy era. So it takes place, kind of in between episodes 7 and 9. It kind of, there's some overlap there. Right. So it's, of course, a lot about the resistance and everything.
I think I told this story on the show before, but I actually introduced my nephew to Star Wars Resistance, mainly because he was over here. My wife was watching him for the day, and he kind of found his way downstairs when I was working, and I had something Star Wars going on. I forget exactly what it was. I don't know if I was listening to a soundtrack or had a podcast on or something like that. Mm-hmm. But he heard it and asked about it, and I said it was something Star Wars, and he says, I don't watch Star Wars. It's for kids, for babies, I think he said. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh yeah. And without telling him, I just kind of snuck on Resistance on Disney Plus. Yeah. And before I knew it, he was like standing in front of the TV and wouldn't leave. Like he was glued to it. So that's a can confirm that's a viable strat.
That's a good one to get started with, and of course, if your children are a little bit older, maybe a little bit older, like maybe around that 8 to 10 age range or something like that, you might be able to start with Clone Wars or Rebels or something like that. I would
also toss in some of the Lego stuff, which is just fun, and coming up soon. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Is the Lego Christmas special, so that's coming around
holiday
the corner.
Special, yes.
Disney Plus has a bunch of Star Wars Lego stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh geez, and I'm gonna forget what the other there's another animated series on there that focuses primarily on like the female heroes, and I'm gonna blank on the name. Forces of Destiny.
That's
okay.
it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just pulled that one out of my head.
Yeah,
that one's on there too. So there's a bunch of stuff on Disney Plus like that you can jump into.
Yeah, we've watched several of those too, and Sydney really loves those, and I love the Lego stuff too because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
There's a lot of I don't know if it's technically like satire or anything like that, but it's like
right. I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's quite funny.
Yeah.
And then
it almost
think at
verges
this point,
on like parody. Like not really.
Yeah,
like satire.
Parody.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then by now they should be ready. Step number 5, maybe start showing them the movies. And over the weekend, my family, we sat down and watched The Force Awakens. It was the first time we really tried to sit down as my wife Sydney and I to try to watch a Star Wars movie. And Sydney,
how'd it go?
Well,
meh.
I know I enjoyed it for the 90th time. Brittany fell asleep at some point.
Okay, that sounds like my house.
And
I'll watch it. Denise will fall asleep, and then Grace will end up playing.
And then Sydney ended up like on her iPad, 15 minutes after it started. But she did recognize BB-8 and everything.
Yeah.
And seemed to be getting into it a little bit, but she's not quite ready. No, she's only 3, so.
And like I'm joking about it, but like I mean, sometimes that's all. They will really need at that point. You see that hook, the BB-8, or if you start with 4 and 5, you get Yoda and all the other stuff. So you get that type of hook that kind of pulls them in, and they'll remember that. They'll come back to that later.
I'm thinking by the time that she's like maybe 5 or 6 years old, maybe she could start really sitting down and watching them. Possibly, maybe a little older. I don't know. Right. So I would say if your child is a little bit older, I would probably, and we've talked about this before, I would probably go with release order.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's just in the event that you might be able to preserve that twist in The Empire Strikes Back. And it's the way that we saw them when we first started coming up with Star Wars. Was and
there's a certain rhyme to that order anyway. Starting with that story and then going back and learning what happened to Anakin. There's a certain method to that madness, I think.
Yeah, certainly.
I'm just glad you're here. At the end.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 47 of From a Certain Point of View. Creeping ever closer to that 1 year mark. We're only a few episodes away from our first year anniversary, so we're getting there. But just like I said, thank you all for tuning in. We hit another little milestone week on Anchor this week. We saw with our audience size, which is kind of fun. So moving on and up in the podcasting world, and that's all thanks to everyone out there tuning in every single week. If you haven't already subscribed to us on your favorite podcast app, if you are on one like iTunes or Podchaser that lets you leave a review, please do that. Not only does it help us get out to more people, but it helps us know what you guys like, don't like, want to see more of, want to see less of, all that stuff. So let us know what you're thinking about the show. And remember, we are on a couple new platforms, including iHeartRadio and Amazon Music. So if you're interested in those new platforms, check us out there. We are there. Remember to check out the website FromACertainPointOfView.com. There you'll find all our past blog articles. You can find links to send us questions. Find us on all of our socials there. Any of that stuff you can find on our website. Make sure to check out FromACertainPointOfView.com. Speaking of those socials, our Twitter account is @CertainPOVPod. We are on Instagram, brand new as of last week. That is also CertainPOVPod. The Facebook page is From a Certain Point of View. Discord server link is in the show notes and on the website. Our email address is certainpovpod@gmail.com. And we are hosted by Anchor.fm, where you can leave us a 60-second voicemail ask us a question about anything we mentioned on the show here. Let us know how you are maybe introducing your kids to Star Wars. We'd love to hear that, and we'd love to play that on the show as well. Remember to check out the Red5 Network at red5network.com. We are a proud member of the Red5 Network family, and we encourage you to check out all of the other shows on the network. There's a bunch of great shows covering everything, not just Star Wars related, but everything you can think of as well. Josh, we mentioned a giveaway, so why don't you tell the good people how that's going to work and what they can win?
Yes, so the giveaway is an adult small size of this t-shirt, and if you're just listening, it is the Mandalorian and the Child. It's a white shirt with kind of sort of like a green color on it, with the font and everything. I have the Mandalorian and the Child on there. So hopefully if your child doesn't quite fit into it yet, maybe they'll grow into it. And you can enter to win this shirt by leaving a comment on the YouTube video of this particular episode. So just leave a comment on YouTube on this video and you'll be entered.
Yeah, and not just a shirt, but we're also going to throw in a set of Topps trading cards. One of the things I loved collecting as a kid and even now is trading cards. So Topps came out with a brand new set of 7 cards. So far, this is a limited edition print. Looks like right now they have a little under 1,500 of these made. This is from the trailer for season 2 of The Mandalorian. They have a couple little moments that they pulled out and made some trading cards of, and this is a 7-card set that we're going to include as well. So, like Josh said, comment on our YouTube video for this episode. We'll include links on that and all our socials as well, so you know where to find it. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe. We're inching ever so slowly to 100 subscribers, so make sure you, while you're there entering the contest, that you also hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I want to thank all of you for joining us today and watching and listening. And as Adam said about subscribing to YouTube, we are trying to add additional content. I think I mentioned last week that, of course, we had the Mandalorian trailer reaction video, and I put up a trailer of the video I'm creating for my visit to Galaxy's Edge, which is another great way to get kids into Star Wars. Take them to Galaxy's Edge if you can afford it and if you can go. And that the full video will be out very soon. My goal is to get it out there sometime this week.
Awesome.
So thanks again so much for joining us this week. And just remember that everything we said today was true.
From a certain point of view.